Um... Guess I'm on my own. All right, here we go.
Ebesit kata, etwa ost.
Maraskata!
Your forces have failed. Leave now and tell the Canary to trouble me no further.
Solus.
That should give us more time. I suspect you have questions.
Yeah, just a few questions, I would think.
The Canary were trying to kill you. I wanted to get here first.
I know. They sought an agent of Fanharel. I am no one's agent but my own. I fear that the truth is much simpler and much worse than the Canary believe.
You're Fanharel.
I was Solus first. Fanharel came later. An insult I took as a badge of pride. The Dread Wolf inspired hope in my friends, and fear in my enemies. Not unlike Inquisitor, I suppose. You also know the burden of a title that all but replaces your name.
Are you a fragment of what Fanharel once was? Like Mythal?
No. This is all I have ever been.
And the legends?
I sought to set my people free from slavery to would-be gods. I broke the chains of all who wished to join me. The false gods called me Fanharel, and when they finally went too far, I formed the Veil and banished them forever. Thus I freed the Elven people, and in so doing, destroyed their world.
So, he created the Veil. Great. Yeah, let's try that one.
The Evanurus were elven mages? How did they come to be remembered as gods?
Slowly. It started with a war. War breeds fear. Fear breeds a desire for simplicity. Good and evil, right and wrong, chains of command. After the war ended, generals became respected elders, then kings, finally gods. The Evanurus.
How did creating the Veil destroy the world?
You saw the remains of Via de Thara. The library was intrinsically tied to the Fade, and the Veil destroyed it. There were countless other marvels, all dependent on the presence of the Fade, all destroyed. The elven legends of immortality, all true. It was not the arrival of humans that caused them to begin aging. It was me. The Veil took everything from the elves, even themselves.
You love the Fade. Why would you create the Veil to hide it all away?
Because every alternative was worse.
Meaning?
Had I not created the Veil, the Evanurus would have destroyed the entire world.
You said that the elven gods went too far. What did they do that made you move against them?
They killed Mythal. A crime for which an eternity of torment is the only fitting punishment.
I thought Mythal was one of the Evanuris.
She was the best of them. She cared for her people. She protected them. She was a voice of reason. And in their lust for power, they killed her.
You banished the false gods. You didn't kill them.
You met Mythal, did you not? The first of my people do not die so easily. The Evanuris are banished forever, paying the ultimate price for their misdeeds.
That's the past. What about the future?
I lay in dark and dreaming sleep while countless wars and ages passed. I woke still weak a year before I joined you. My people fell for what I did to strike the Evanuris down. But still, some hope remains for restoration. I will save the elven people, even if it means this world must die.
Why does this world have to die for the elves to return?
A good question, but not one I will answer. You have always shown a thoughtfulness I respected. It would be too easy to tell you too much. I am not Corypheus. I take no joy in this. But the return of my people means the end of yours. It is my fight. You should be more concerned about the Inquisition. Your Inquisition. In stopping the Dragon's Breath, you have prevented an invasion by Qunari forces. With luck, they will return their focus to Tevinter. That should give you a few years of relative peace.
The Qunari said the Inquisition was unknowingly working for the agents of Fen'Harel.
I gave no orders.
You led us to Skyhold.
Corypheus should have died unlocking my orb. When he survived, my plans were thrown into chaos. When you survived, I saw the Inquisition as the best hope this world had of stopping him. And you needed a home. Hence, Skyhold.
You gave your orb to Corypheus?
Not directly. My agents allowed the Venatori to locate it. The orb had built up magical energy while I lay unconscious for millennia. I was not powerful enough to open it. The plan was for Corypheus to unlock it, and for the resulting explosion to kill him. Then I would claim the orb. I did not foresee a Tevinter Magister having learned the secret of effective immortality.
What would have happened if Corypheus had died, and you'd recovered the orb?
I would have entered the Fade using the mark you now bear. Then I would have torn down the veil. As this world burned in the raw chaos, I would have restored the world of my time. The world of the elves.
If you destroyed the veil, wouldn't the false gods be freed?
I had plans.
I never thought of you as someone who would do that, Solus.
Thank you. You must understand. I awoke in a world where the veil had blocked most people's conscious connection to the Fade. It was like walking through a world of tranquil.
We aren't even people to you.
Not at first. You showed me that I was wrong. Again. That does not make what must come next any easier.
You never cared about us. We were the means to an end.
You were people, and you deserved better. Like all the rest I've used in one hopeless battle after another.
You control the Illuvians now?
Yes. You remember Briala from Halam Shiral? For a time, she controlled part of the labyrinth. One of my agents was supposed to take it from her, but he did not succeed. I had to override the magic personally. The Qunari stumbled upon this section independently. With them gone, the Illuvians are now mine.
What's wrong with the Inquisition?
You created a powerful organization, and now it suffers the inevitable fate of such. Betrayal and corruption.
It's not that simple.
Isn't it? Perhaps we should ask your friend, the Iron Bull. Tell me, where is he? Do you know how I discovered the Qunari plot? The plot I disrupted by leading them to your doorstep? The Canary spies in the Inquisition tripped over my spies in the Inquisition. The Elven Guard who led you to the Canary body? Who intercepted the servant with the Gatlock barrel? Mine.
Why bother disrupting the Canary plot if you're going to destroy the world regardless?
You have shown me that there is value in this world, Inquisitor. I take no joy in what I must do. Until that day comes, I would see those recovering from the breach free of the Qun.
Why?
Because I am not a monster. If they must die, I would rather they die in comfort. In any event, it is done.
So you let us do your dirty work.
The mistake was yours to fix, Inquisitor.
There's still the matter of the anchor. It's getting worse.
Yes, I'm sorry. And we are almost out of time. The mark will eventually kill you. Drawing you here gave me the chance to save you. At least for now.
If I live, I'm coming to stop you.
I know. Take my hand. I'm sorry. Live well, while time remains.
Agree something must be done, but we cannot lose the Inquisition now. We stand on the brink of war with the Canary.
Yes, because this Solas provoked them in the first place.
The Inquisition did not cause this threat. We informed the Summit of the danger.
The danger posed by Canary spies inside your organization.
Without our organization, none of us would be here to complain.
No one has forgotten what you have done. But Corypheus is 2 years dead.
If the Inquisition is to continue, it must do so as a legitimate organization, not a glorified mercenary band.
Inquisitor.
You all know what this is. A writ from Divine Justinia authorizing the formation of the Inquisition. We pledge to close the breach, find those responsible, and restore order, with or without anyone's approval. The Inquisition saved the people of Ferelden when you couldn't. We are not disbanding. And we are certainly not submitting to an empress who only sits on her throne because we kept her there. There's worse coming than anything you've yet seen. So we'll play nice. We'll bow. But not to you. The Inquisition will act as Divine Victoria's personal honor guard. Answering directly to her, we will transition from a military force into a peacekeeping organization. My own adventuring days may be done, but the Inquisition and its mission will continue.
I have to admit, this is the strangest ending I've ever seen. Who's going after Solus? Nobody? As divine personal guard, peacekeeping forces, the Inquisition shrank to a more manageable size. We didn't have a reader? Many who had served went home, though the remaining force was still enough to give pause to any who might threaten the Divine's plan. Those who served the Inquisition were tested and checked thoroughly in hopes of filtering out any more spies within its ranks. With the dragon's breath disrupted and any hope of swift victory dashed, the Qunari retreated back to the north. Well, I had gone further than that. Few knew what debates were waged in Parvolan, but not long after the Exalted Council, the Qunari launched new attacks against Tevinter. Their aggression caught the already unstable Imperium off guard. Tevinter was soon marred with war many feared could spread across Thedas. Cassandra continued her reign as Divine Victoria, rebuilding fractured alliances, settling the Inquisition into its new role as her personal guard. Her efforts were successful, and for a time, southern Thedas saw peace. Hoorah! Cassandra also spent time in the Hunter Thorn Mountain north of Orleans, where she worked to rebuild the Seekers. Of course she would. For a time, the new Seekers remained reclusive, showing no interest in worldly affairs and working to a purpose to propose few outside their order could guess. Vivian was elected Grand Enchantress, which I think was her idea for the whole time, of the Circle of Magi, but her inauguration was not as triumphant as she had hoped. I think that's the only reason why she joined the Inquisition, so she could become the leader. Those veteran mages in the Inquisition who did not return to the fold formed a new college of enchanters as a rival organization to her circle. The two institutions settled into an uneasy coexistence across the south, vying for power, as would be expected. Liliana continued to act as an Inquisition spy master in its final months as independent organization. During this time, she shared many of her responsibilities with her most trusted agents, including Charter, Rector, and Harding. Richter? All right. Many believe that Liliana feared that what lay on the horizon was going to groom successors in anticipation of challenges ahead. Was grooming. Sarah left the Inquisition with scarcely more ties than when she began, disappearing back into her confusing weave of favors and friends. After seeing the world brought to the brink by arrogance and pride, it was a blessing to return to normal, however strange normal it may be. With frequent visits to her welding, of course. Perhaps most unnerving was Sierra's standoff to the divine. Standing off to the divine. When the Nobs pissed about your left hand or right, call on Red Jenny to give them 2 fingers. That's a British thing, 2 fingers. Varric returned to Kirkwall, where, as Viscount, he resumed his work rebuilding the damaged city's infrastructure. Oh, he would have had to been bored. Under his rule, the city-state finally resumed its place as a major trade hub of the free marches. And I bet he bankrolled everything. Well, no. That all bankrolled him, probably. He continued to ignore all mail from both Merchants Guild and the Prince of Starkhaven. It was never clear if Iron Bull knew that he would be forced to turn upon the Inquisition, or if he was lying the entire time. Regardless, after his death, Talvashal mercenaries across Arlay and Ferelden were looked upon with suspicion. Well, yeah, I mean, he was the right hand of the Herald and he turned on him. Those who remained in the south found their lives even harder as a result. After the Inquisition transformed into a peacekeeping role, Cullen continued to serve as commander of its forces. Really? Under his leadership, the Inquisition protected the divine interest with enforcing new standards of security. Didn't really need to say that. Cullen also expanded the Chantry's treatment for Templars whose minds were taken by lyrium, as well as those who wished to cease lyrium usage. And a chorus ranged in the north and threatened the divine lurked in every shadow. Cullen remained ready to serve. Chaos. That's the word, chaos. Durin returned to Tevinter to take his father's place as Magisterum. Magisterum? Yeah, Magisterum. As rumors flew about the Imperium's infighting, Dorian spoke of often as a voice of reassurance against corruption. Along with the Magisterum, I'm not saying that. He formed a group called Lucens to restore and redeem Tevinter. A fight many thought was probably undoable. After earning the Inquisition transition into the Chantry, Josephine returned to Antietam and her family. Thanks to the Inquisition help, the Josephine's family were once again permitted to trade in Orleans. The next few years were a busy time. Many ships with the Maltese crest were built and set sail again from Antietam harbors. Soon, Reverend pirate captain with ancient feud against Josephine's ancestors took to the seas, determined to rekindle the rivalry. Apart from Josephine's sister, Yvette nearly eloping with a dashing pirate prince on the occasion, Lady Montalais took the development in stride. After the events of the Winter Palace, elves left the Inquisition under mysterious circumstances, as did Elvin's servants across Thedas. None could say where they went, but those who believed the Inquisition story about Van Hall wondered just how large the dreaded wolf forces were. Yeah, I would too. And what the ancient elves rebel had planned. Still has plans. He's gathering his forces, apparently.
My agents have found nothing. With the Illuvians, he could be anywhere.
Maintaining the Inquisition, even as a peacekeeping force, leaves us vulnerable to agents of the Dread Wolf.
But also gives us the strength to respond.
We will need to be careful.
Solus knows everything about us. Who we are, how we work, our strengths, and weaknesses.
Then we find people he doesn't know. We will stop Solus by any means necessary.
So we're left with that. We're not really given an ending. The Inquisition did its job and then failed, all at the same time. Beat one opened up another door. And that door is the exact same door, just a different character. Solus has become as bad, if not worse, than Corythius had. So you might as well let Corythius win. At least then some of humanity would have existed. Well, alright, I was disappointed by the second ending. I preferred the first. Solus taking it to us, and then turns out you find a lot more about the lore behind the elves, which is good, but the problem is now you learn that the elves' gods are probably the demons coming up from the ground, and it's all Solus's fault. And it kind of creates a weird storyline. So it'll be interesting to see what they do next. If they continue this, I have no idea if they have or haven't. I haven't been able to follow this is the last Dragon Age I played. I played Dragon Age Origin, Dragon Age 2, and the Inquisition. They're all fun, but I've never seen this end with the Solus portion. The last time I played, I think I turned it off at the credits, so I missed the rest. Alright, well, I'm going to let the credits play again. Second set of credits. So much fun. And I'll pick it up in the next... Well, maybe this is it. For the Dragon Age Inquisition. We'll find out. Until then, I'll let the credits play. And I'll see you later.
What is this? A new book? All this shit is weird. Oh, Varric, that is a terrible title. What are you even thinking? The sky churned like a rolling sea on a dark and stormy night, centered on a gaping hole that led to the arse end of nowhere. A hole that spit up many things that day, comets, demons, and a whole lot of trouble. It's about the Inquisition. The din of the tavern cut the silence like it owed the carter money. In the middle, in her element, Red Jenny. She looked me up and down, mostly down. "Not playing, weirdy," she said, gesturing with and dismissively eating a sandwich. "Don't write that. Seriously, piss up a rope." Sarah made the subtext text, which suited me fine. The court enchanter swirled into the room like a drop of beautiful poison spreading in a wineglass. She sized me up with a glance. "I'm so glad you made it, my dear," she said. "I am Madame de Fair, The most terrifying person you shall ever meet. Liliana enfolded Alphonse in an embrace as warm as a serpent's kiss. I always knew I could count on your support. The Count did not feel the bite of her poisoned dart until it was too late. Even if it requires your death. Drops of rain glistened on the griffin medallion grasped tightly in Blackwall's hand. The silverite wings of valor, they mean nothing. He flung the medal to the cold and uncaring ground. You don't know what I've done. You don't know me. So romantic. Cole moved like a shadow that also moved like a knife. A shadow wearing a hat where dreams came to die. It's a riddle, he whispered. A cold riddle that gnaws at your mind, but you'll feel better when it's gone. That makes as much sense as anything Cole says. Do you place your herald above the law, Ambassador? Whose law, my lady? Josephine's eyes glittered like angry opals. The law destroyed by rebellion, by civil war, by poor fiscal management. We are the law. We left our mark on adamant, but the dust hadn't settled, and neither had Harding. I can offer you a drink, if I catch your meaning. If you'd caught my meaning, you'd have offered a double. What is even happening here? The Iron Bull was a great slab of muscle with horns that could hang a tapestry. One eye scanned for threats, while the other hid behind an eye patch like a chantry sister's old sins. Come on, he barked, not looking back as he entered. The dancer with the great rack comes on in 5. That is spot on, actually. The commander had the look of a Templar who had seen the worst of humanity, yet still had the time to style his hair. This isn't just a war, he said, his gaze steely like a dull blade. It's the only war. Cullen! That's Cullen! The mage wore a class of handsome sneer cultivated by 1,000 years of Tevinter elitism. The name's Dorian, he glared. D-O-R-I-A-N. Spell it right, you marble-headed lump, or it's toad time. A toad? That's hardly credible. The bold elf spun, mage staff crackling like the city after a good man's murder. You're crazy, the Red Templar cried in terror. Moonlight glinted off ears like the knives you never see coming. Better to fade out than burn away. Ugh, Varric. Wait, where am I? I don't... Oh, here it is. The Seeker clutched at my vest, her tears as desperate as they were pitiful. Varric, I was wrong about everything, she sobbed. Could you find it in your noble heart to forgive me? That dwarf, he put me in the book! I'm in the book! I am reading the shit out of this!
Well, that's a nice touching little letter.